This is my reflexive video essay, and this is my artist statement.
As artists, we have varying levels of autonomy in the digital world. When creating our artwork, we exercise these different levels of control to produce an end piece. In this video essay, I will critically look at the artwork I have created during my viral video production course, reflecting on the new forms of technology within digital media, how I have communicated with the digital world, and how this relates to the level of autonomy I have applied in each example.
The two main readings I will be drawing upon throughout this video are New Aesthetics, Cyber Aesthetics and Degrees of Autonomy by Patrick Litchy, and Loops of Perception, Sampling Memory and the Semantic Web by Paul Miller aka DJ Spooky.
I have drawn this diagram to create a visual spectrum of autonomy. It shows how much agency I have exercised when creating certain products on my course. At one end of the scale is glitch art, an art practice involving autonomous operations within computers. At the other end of the scale is political video mashups, an art practice involving a lot less autonomy and a lot more agency on my behalf. With my mashups, I did a lot of editing and piecing together to try and be as precise as possible with my creations. Litchy would say, my agency is at maximum here, and that the artist and machine are in partnership. I will now explore the journey I took on this course in relation to the different degrees of agency I had when creating my artwork. Litchy describes glitch art as a new aesthetic, which is an art form encompassing semi-autonomous aspects of computer vision. Being semi-autonomous thus means we do not have full control over the art we create, minimising our agency as artists. Litchy also describes glitch artists as allowing whimsical or chance elements in their media, and I experienced this when creating my own glitch art using Audacity. Whilst it took me a while to understand how Audacity worked, once I got my head around the process, I was pleased with the glitch art I made and believe they are some of my better products that I have made on this course. Litchy also communicates the way the images we corrupt are set loose into the system to allow the corruptions within the media to trigger chance operations, and this is exactly what I did when creating my glitch art. Eventually, I was able to understand what each of the tools in Audacity did to some degree, and was able to create images such as these, where I targeted certain parts of the image. As I got more familiar with the software, the process became less autonomous, and I gained more agency, yet there was always going to be an element of chance in my final products. These elements of chance are also visible in Miller's article when he talks about search engines and the way in which they often bring up conflicting results when we ask them to look for something. Reliance on machines can yield surprising results, particularly the internet, and Miller goes on to say, when we browse and search, we invoke a series of chance operations.
Shot every time you hear the word click.
Moving up the spectrum of autonomy, I felt Vines came next. As an app, the process felt quite autonomous to me. I recorded a scenario that was not only restricted by a 6-second time limit, that would thus cut my filming short if I went over the time limit, but it then continuously looped my video over and over again. Creating a narrative by recording 5 vines was one of the tasks I found more difficult on this course. Whilst I did manage to incorporate humour, pranks, symbolism and music into my narrative, there wasn't much in the way of a message. If I redid my Vine narrative, I might think about creating satire or producing a message that critiques stereotypes. Nonetheless, me and my housemates enjoyed making these.
Apart from the fact I could choose when to stop and start my recording by holding down a button on my phone screen, and the fact that I chose what particular scene or scenario I wanted to film, the end effect was basically just an autonomous loop.
You may have thought that GIFs were more autonomous than Vines, but hear me out. With GIFs, we upload our selected video to an app or computer and then it automatically creates a loop effect that's out of our control. However, Litchy talks about a tweak and test methodology that still involves the user in the process to varying degrees, and when creating my GIFs, I felt this was relevant. Whilst the computer essentially made my clips into GIFs, I was the one initially editing and recording the clips to ensure they loop properly, such as these.
Like an earthquake.
I also created a Mr. Bean GIF, a Mean Girls GIF and an Elf GIF from pre-recorded material. Whilst I felt that these pre-recorded GIFs looped better, I preferred the GIFs me and my housemates recorded ourselves because it showed more agency and creativity.
Moving further up the scale comes memes. Now this was a tricky one. If you look at the original memes I've created using templates such as the dating site murderer, Futurama Fry, and Why You Know, then the process is pretty autonomous. You choose a template, type some text, and the computer creates the end product.
Miller states, "We live in an era where quotation and sampling operate on a deep level, and using well-known popular templates when creating memes highlights this. Familiarity is often key to ensure digital artwork goes viral."
However, having created my own personal memes, I felt I actually exercised quite a lot of agency. I added text, positioned it how I wanted it to look, and then saved it. The computer just acted as a medium in compiling these materials together. This mirrors technology as a whole really, as it is no longer used for transporting information, but as a medium for a plethora of other possibilities. I could have gone one step further and taken my own photographs to make this even more explicit, and this is perhaps one regret I have during this course. In his article, Litchy talks about gleaning, and I felt music video mashups had an aspect of gleaning to them. Gleaning is basically collecting junk and aestheticising it, and by combining multiple clips of music and videos together, whether you would class this as junk per se, the mashup hints at this gleaning methodology.
Miller expands on this when he talks about sampling, as he says, "When recorded, adapted, remixed and uploaded, expression becomes a stream unit of value. Using these techniques not only shows my agency, but my expression too."
In my music video mashup, I used just one video and one song, chosen by myself, and then made cuts of the video to the beats of the music. Here I was exercising a lot of agency, as every single cut was done for a reason. I sped the clips up, slowed them down, made them choppier in some places, and basically totally mashed up the original video. If I was to make another video, I might think about adding even more music and video clips to add to the agency and complexity of it.
It's the same old you, the same old me. You get bored and I get cold feet. Get high, get wandering eyes. Forget I've never ever had it so sweet. I realise what I've got when I'm out of town. Cause deep down you're my girl in a golden crown. My princess and I don't wanna let you down. Gig starts again. Start to think it could be finished.
I like the way I listened to the lyrics in the song and made cuts to the video to synchronise them with these lyrics. Litchy talks about algorithms in his reading too. This is the control end of the spectrum, where agency is at a maximum as artist and machine are in partnership. Whilst political video mashups aren't quite as complex as algorithmic art, in terms of the artwork I've created, it is the space in which I've exercised the most control. I had to search YouTube for numerous different videos to create my political video mashup.
Drive those gas guzzlers, smoke those big old fat Cuban cigars, burn down a styrofoam factory for the hell of it. But we still have enough resources to last us a good couple decades and let our children worry about our time.
I also had to choose the music I want, which would fit in with my clips.
As temperatures rise, so do those of the sea. Up to us, indeed.
There should be no doubt that climate change is happening.
I'm not worried about global warming or greenhouse gases.
From severe drought of an invading sea.
I then had to cut the clips in a way that created a dialectical speech to get my point across.
Despite so much evidence, some people refuse to believe that human activity is the cause of the changes we're seeing.
I'm not worried about global warming or greenhouse gases.
We're all involved in this.
There should be no doubt that climate change is happening.
And I'm like, man, this feels good.
Basically, I had to ensure every single snippet was edited to create this overall dramatic video with a political message about the importance of global warming and climate change. Overall, this was the artwork I was most proud of, and I believe it is because I exercised the most agency here. I had creative control and was able to tweak it until I was happy. I made it entirely my own.
Litchy was interested with the degree of control or not that a person creating, tweaking or gleaning an image had, and I hope to have demonstrated different aspects of this throughout my video, as well as displaying some of the artwork I've created on this course. Miller states that, as an artist, you are only as good as your archive, so I hope this archive of my work has suitably impressed you. The different environments now available on the internet are constantly shaped and reshaped by participation from people just like me, exercising levels of autonomy in different programs to create works of art. I wonder what students will be making on this course in 5 years' time.